Stay with us. Channel 4 News. Jennifer Valoppi, Jose Diaz-Balart, Bryan Norcross. Live, this is Channel 4 News at 4:30.
Well, it's 4:30 in South Florida. Hello, everyone. I'm Jennifer Valoppi.
And I'm Jose Diaz-Balart. Welcome to the newest edition to the Channel 4 News lineup. We will bring you the latest news and a whole lot more.
Each day we'll be focusing on a particular issue that affects your life and all of ours for that matter. Today, a new study suggests that South Florida may not be the best place to raise children. And we'll have a daily For Your Health report. Today, the popcorn you eat at the movie theater, is it bad for you, and just how bad is it? Illeana Bravo will tell us.
And we'll have a Just for Fun story on an all-female hoop-it-up basketball team. We'll also go up on the roof for Brian's weather.
And we'll tell you what the celebrities are doing, also give you some news that you can use.
But we begin with the news making headlines at 4:30. The fate of over 400 Haitians is being decided today. They arrived on a boat on Friday, and in a departure from U.S. policy, were not immediately returned to Haiti. Channel 4's Ed Odell is following the story. He is live at Chrome Detention Center. Ed.
Jose, no official word yet on whether the Haitians will be repatriated or paroled to this community. One man already taking his parole in his own hands. He walked out of Jackson Memorial Hospital after being treated for dehydration. And while the 410 still in Chrome are being processed, they're being given greater access to reach relatives and their attorneys. I'll have details on this story at the top of our news show at 5.
Okay, Ed, thank you very much. And also a story we will bring you at 5:30. The first pictures out of Cuba today of Fidel Castro meeting with exiles from South Florida. That meeting took place over the weekend. The first time, by the way, Castro has been seen in public in about 2 weeks, and that's since the rumors that he may have been ill. And a Channel 4 News exclusive out of Cuba, the storming of the Canadian embassy in Havana by Cubans seeking freedom and asking for political asylum.
Violence again today in South Africa as that country prepares for tomorrow's historic open election. Bombs exploded at 3 black taxi stands in Johannesburg. At least 10 people are confirmed dead today. 36 others are injured. Now, this comes just one day after a car bomb attack by terrorists killed 9 people near the African National Congress headquarters. And then late today, another explosion, this one in Pretoria. There may be more dead there. Reports are still coming in. And now let's bring in Tony Segreto for a look at what else the Channel 4 News team is working on today. Tony.
Hi, Jennifer. Well, Pompano Beach police are still looking for the person who smothered an 89-year-old woman in her home. Over the weekend, police believe an intruder entered Lillian Duclos' home at 1550 Northwest 7th Avenue and killed her. She was last seen alive at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. At 5:30, we will tell you what police are doing to try and crack this case. Another story we're following for you today. Yesterday's heavy rains are now flooding some parts of neighborhoods right here in South Florida. In fact, the Red Cross is now helping flood victims whose homes are waterlogged. Ike Siemens will have a live report from the hardest hit area, that coming up at 5:30. And South Florida has become a port of call for one of the world's most intriguing sailboat races. Willard Shepard is standing by live at Port Everglades to tell us about it. Willard?
Well, that's right, Tony. If you like boating, you should be out here now. The Yamaha boat, the first in yesterday, the fastest in the race. More boats still coming in. Also, it's going to mean a lot of money for the city of Fort Lauderdale. We'll tell you about it in the 5:30 show.
Okay, Willard, thank you very much. It is a great race. I've covered it many, many years, and it's great to have it right here in South Florida. Jennifer and Jose, back to you. We'll see you at 5 o'clock.
Absolutely. We'll wait for that race. Thanks, Tony. Okay, now, today, our 4:30 focus. A new study is ranking Florida near the bottom of the list as a place to raise children.
The annual Kids Count Data Book report released today by the Annie Casey Foundation in Washington, D.C. It ranks states on their environment for raising children based on 10 different categories of information. New Hampshire, North Dakota, and Vermont ranked best. Florida was near the bottom, 48th. Only 2 other states, Washington, D.C. and Washington, D.C. were actually worse.
Yeah, well, Gerri Helfman is here now. She has a detailed look at this study and what it's going to mean for all of us. Gerri.
Well, Jennifer and Jose, the report says that Florida dropped from 45th to 48th out of 50 states when it compared statistics related to children's well-being. Some of the categories that they used in the comparisons were infant mortality rates and the number of children born to teenagers. Of course, each statistic has a face, a name, and a story. We meet a few of them and a woman desperately trying to improve their chances.
Did you hear me say be quiet over there? Yes, ma'am. All right, let's have just that.
If these kids have never listened to anyone, they listen to Georgia Ayers.
I've had a child that told me that, well, I couldn't put my hand on her. Mother came out and told me, but you're not supposed to put your hand on her. I said, well, you take your child and go home.
The founder of the alternative school believes in good old-fashioned discipline. She says lack of discipline is why each of the kids in her program has become a statistic. Look at some of the numbers. In Florida, of every 100,000 teens, 757 are arrested for violent crimes. That's 300 more than the national average. 5% of all teens in the country are not in school or working. In Florida, the number goes up to 6.5%. And nearly 70% of all U.S. teens graduate high school on time. In Florida, timely graduations only happen 56% of the time.
Florida can afford our children. The high cost of school failure and drug abuse and crime are the big ticket items that we can afford.
I work, and I'm a single grandparent. I have no recipe for how do you prevent it.
Bobby St. Jean says the alternative school is her granddaughter's last chance before she becomes a statistic.
Are you worried for her? Frightened for her, not worried, frightened for her.
I did make a lot of mistakes when I was 17. I had him. I was getting drunk out there.
Maria Cruz is yet another statistic. She was a teenage mother. When her son was 10, he broke into homes, even a store.
Why couldn't you just grab a hold of him, put him in his room, and say, you're punished, you're grounded?
I would have told him that, but he would have just have attitude, talk back to me, and would find a way to get out of the room.
When they used to punish me, they used to jump out the window.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't have no help. So that's when I decided to take him to the juvenile to give him up.
Instead, she gave him to the alternative school, where his recent drawing was chosen as the cover for a fundraising invitation. That's what keeps Georgia Ayers going.
I can close the school down and forget about these kids and let them be on the streets, but if they were on the streets, I'm a target for them. My home will be a target. My car will be a target for being broken into or stolen or whatever. I'd much rather work with them here and get them to change their life, hopefully save them from a bullet and save me from one too.
So despite the depressing statistics, there are some bright lights like Georgia Ayers programs, and there's others like them, just not enough.
Yeah. Gerri, does the study give any kind of an indication why Florida is ranking so low? What's the problem?
Well, according to the study, Florida is a rich state with a ranked 19th in its per capita income. They say that it's just poor spending habits. We're not spending our money in the right places. However, there are some other people that would point to our immigration situation as one of the reasons, and also people like Georgia Ayers say she didn't even buy the statistics. She says that studies can be skewed anyway.
Yeah, that's something I'm wondering. I mean, does the study give any suggestions as to how better spend it? If they're criticizing how it's being spent, do they give suggestions on how to better spend it?
Yes. Prevention, prevention, prevention. More money for prenatal care so these kids are taken care of earlier, and the teenagers get, prenatal care during their pregnancies, and the kids who are in trouble get counseling early. So they say spend the money earlier. It'll cost you less than down the road.
Often debated issues,
yes.
Okay,
Gerri, thank you.
Thank you. Well, now should we go up to the roof?
It's been kind of an off and on day. It's been sunny and rainy and sunny rainy. I think Brian's here to tell us exactly what we can expect.
See what the weather's like up there.
Can you tell?
Not bad.
We actually were sort of wondering whether or not, since we're going to debut weather on the roof up here, if we're going to be able to pull it off, but we're going to be up here rain, sleet, snow, hail. Well, not the sleet and the hail, but we're going to be up here 350, well, actually, my math, 300 days a year. We do this Monday through Friday to give you an idea of what's happening. Did have some strong thunderstorms earlier through downtown, but as you can see now, the sunshine is back out. Let's go ahead and take a look at Grove Cam and give you an idea of what is happening. So we take a look in on downtown. Our current temperature here is 78 degrees. But because of the rain, our feels-like temperature is only in at 80, so actually not too bad. And let me just sort of give you a little preview to the forecast. We have a couple of storms around in the area. We're going to sort of keep an eye on those. But I want to give you an idea as where we are here. We're in downtown. We've got plants up here. I've been studying the Bob Vila tapes. We're going to actually add on to this deck and really do some improvements out here every night at 4:30, live weather. Coming up in a couple of minutes, we'll be back with the forecast and a new feature, some community events coming up. Jose and Jennifer.
Looking forward to that, except Brien Allen building something is a scary, scary thing.
I want to see these Bob Vila tapes. What's he learning today? Well, coming up next on the Channel 4 News at 4:30, popcorn Most of us eat it when we go to the movies, but there's new information tonight on just how bad it may be for our health. We're all in big trouble on this. Illeana Bravo will have the story.
And also how to decrease the pain of going to the dentist. It's ahead in a segment we call What Else Is New. We'll be right back.
You're watching Channel 4 News at 4:30.
Popcorn. Most of us eat it, most of us like it, and most of us are under the impression that it's even good for us. And it usually is.
The problem is that health reporter Illeana Bravo tells us that movie theater popcorn isn't always very healthy for us. Illeana, what exactly is going on with this?
Well, the news is not good, and I think you're going to have to scratch popcorn off your list of healthy snack food. That is, at least of the way most movie theaters are making it. We're not just talking buttered popcorn, but the regular kind you munch on during a movie. This one goes back to the old adage that if it tastes good, it probably isn't good for you.
Movie theater popcorn is a disaster.
Oh, no. That's terrible news. But the nutrition watchdog group, the Center for Science in the Public Interest, says it's how 70% of the nation's movie theaters pop your kernels.
The reason is movie theaters are popping your corn in coconut oil, and coconut oil is twice as bad as beef fat or lard.
So bad that the group tested buckets of popcorn popped in coconut oil and found a 16-cup medium-sized bucket has 900 calories and 43 grams of fat. That's without butter. Put some butter on a large popcorn and you get 4 days worth of saturated fat, the worst kind.
You can eat a bacon and egg breakfast, a Big Mac and fries for lunch, and a steak dinner with all the trimmings, and you'd still get less artery-clogging fat than you would in a medium buttered popcorn.
Uh-oh. Are you surprised to hear that?
Yes, I am.
So why do theaters use the high-fat coconut oil? Well, it may be the public's choice. Here at the Miracle Theater, management claims that just about a year ago, they switched to canola oil, but when the public started complaining that it didn't taste as good, they switched back to coconut. Some theaters do use the lower-fat canola oil, but the watchdog group says corn or peanut oil would be healthier.
Quite honestly, I'm not sure if I would know the difference.
Yes, this is even without the butter, Jennifer.
Oh, jeez.
But I think one thing that we need to say is let's remember that this is the same watchdog group that found Chinese food and fast food and all those other foods were also bad for us. And we have to say that we have not had access to their analysis. And it was done by an independent laboratory. So in that kind of fairness, I can't say that I've looked at the data. But that's what they claim. And I think that what you should probably
we do know for a fact that, we do know for a fact that coconut oil is bad.
They say coconut oil is the worst.
So you can ask the movie.
Canola and peanut oil and all those others are supposed to be better. So my advice is ask the theater which type of oil they're using. You have a right to know.
But coconut oil tastes the best. Can't win.
Yeah.
Can't win.
Thanks, Illeana.
Thanks, Illeana.
Some other information for you. A women's group is boycotting a popular soft drink because of the way it's advertised. A group calling itself Boycott Anorexic Marketing, or BAM, is asking consumers to stop buying Diet Sprite. BAM is angry that Coca-Cola, which makes Diet Sprite, uses a very skinny model nicknamed Skeleton to advertise a soda. BAM believes thin models promote eating disorders. And the latest on Roseanne and Tom Arnold. What are they up to today?
Now speaking of thin models. And why people protesting Kmart stores interrupted a professional golf tournament. Stay with us. The Channel 4 News is next.
You're watching Channel 4 News at 4:30.
Tom and Roseanne Arnold. What's going on with them today, Jose?
The set of Tom's sitcom will be dark for about a week. Arnold is putting production of his show on hold so he can spend more time patching things up with wife Roseanne. The couple headed for what Tom calls a safe place away from California to work on improving their relationship. Award-winning director Steven Spielberg has done it again. His film Schindler's List has swept the British equivalent of the Oscars. The British Academy of Film and Television Arts has named Schindler's List the year's best film and named Spielberg best director. Spielberg also received the British People's Choice Award for Jurassic Park.
Howard Stern's bid to be governor of New York is taking a rather giant leap forward. The shock jock won the Libertarian Party nomination at a convention in Albany over the weekend. Stern says that if he's elected, he will restore the death penalty and reduce highway traffic. And he also promises that he'll quit as governor just as soon as his platform's in place. Well, when you think of products that Michael Jordan endorses, you probably think of McDonald's, Gatorade, and Nike. But now that Jordan has jumped ship to baseball, new endorsements are following him. His very first commercial geared toward baseball fans, Jordan buys a ballpark frank from a hot dog vendor. What else?
A couple $1 million to add to his...
to have a hot dog.
That's right. We're going to check in a little bit on the weather situation. Brien Allen has probably been building some more of that outside set.
Yeah, he's back on the roof. I like those trees out there, Brien.
Yeah, we're sort of putting it together here. Let me sort of orient you with where we are. We are located in downtown Miami here at Channel 4, and every day at 4:30 you're going to see us live here on the roof. And we've started to add some plants and some other things in here gradually. You know, we'll probably just build this place into a giant arboretum or something. But we're going to be doing the weather live up here every day. And at the beginning of the show, we'll tell you sort of what's going on. Then we'll come back and do the local weather like we have always done at 5 o'clock. And also sort of a community calendar. Some events that will be going on that night here in South Florida. Let's go ahead and get a check now and show you what is happening as we take a live look at Tower Cam. Some clouds out there. We had some thunderstorms earlier. Some of those have died out, but we're still going to keep a risk of them in the forecast. Here at the Channel 4 Storm Center, it is 78. It feels like 80. Humidity in at 70%. Winds currently out of the east at 13. And look at that, 82 100ths. Almost a little bit more than 0.8 of an inch of rain here in downtown. All that came this afternoon. We had a little bit of thunderstorm cell that just parked right over top of us. Conditions here in downtown Miami looking pretty decent so far. The sun is back out. As I said, we're going to keep that risk of thunderstorms in the forecast. Let's go ahead and check in on Storm Strike and show you what has been happening lightning-wise. You see the strikes down near Homestead. All those beeps you hear, we're going back through the past 2 hours. There you can see the lightning down through Coral Gables, Key Biscayne, then over downtown Miami. That cell that just sat here and dumped all the rain on top of us. Go ahead and check Storm Track for the past 4 hours. You can see just a few showers. The thunderstorms built in toward Homestead, and then a couple of cells just over Miami, and a few more thunderstorms now exiting the Everglades of northwest Broward County. So again, that risk of thunderstorms in the forecast for tonight. The state, pretty decent for today, but a couple of little different things going on. If you look right up there, up toward Tallahassee, you're going to see some more thunderstorms firing up, and then it's some more in the inland section of the state, up around Tampa and also into Orlando. But everybody finally starting to dry out. We're finally getting some east wind in here, and the conditions looking pretty good. The forecast goes like this. For the boaters tomorrow, winds out of the east-southeast at 10 to 15, seas running 2 to 4 feet. The bay water's a light chop, and the surf temperature now in at 80. For tonight, storms around, some of them isolated, then clearing out. Tonight's low 71. Then for Tuesday, plenty of sunshine, an isolated storm risk, and a high of 85. Now then, if you are looking for something to do this evening, we've got an idea for you. It takes place at Vizcaya, and here's the information on this. This is a moonlight garden tour at Vizcaya, something to see and do. Very unique. If you've never been to Vizcaya at nighttime, it's absolutely gorgeous. Tonight at 7:30, but I have to tell you this, though. Tonight's tour is sold out, but due to the increased demand and the public attention to this, they're going to start adding a lot more of these full moon tours at Vizcaya, and it looks like Mother Nature is going to cooperate, whether you're going to Vizcaya or whatever you are doing across South Florida tonight. Jennifer and Jose?
Okay, Brien, thank you very much. Sold out. We'll see it again. The Vizcaya thing.
I think we need to get Brien a little parasol for the sun there.
Air conditioning.
Yeah. All right, now it's time for What Else is News, and we're going to take a look at that. It's our wrap-up of those rather peculiar stories that you may have missed otherwise. Did you ever think the day would come when you actually wanted to go to the dentist? Well, we didn't think so, but a new device might help take some of the pain away. Look at this. It's called Virtual Vision, and it will allow patients to watch a movie while having procedures like root canal performed. Doctors say that it'll now be a little bit easier to keep patients in the chair when the drill comes out, and hopefully, I guess, they won't be showing Little Shop of Horrors. Community leaders in Fort Worth, Texas are trying to stop a problem before it starts. They've started a job training and placement program for inner-city kids who may be at risk to join gangs. The problem is called YES. It stands for Youth for Education and Success, and its aim is helping boys and girls who might get into trouble if they don't find a job.
Some protesters interrupted the final round of the Greater Greensboro Open Golf Tournament in North Carolina yesterday. More than 60 people ran onto the golf course and disrupted play because they were protesting contract negotiations with Kmart. Now, Kmart, which was a sponsor of the tournament, has been negotiating with the Regional Amalgamated Clothing and Textile Workers Union since last November. The protesters were arrested.
Little Shop of Horrors root canal. Did you get that?
I got it.
So everybody looked at me like I was crazy. Anyway, we're going to have some fun next?
I hope so.
What's coming up?
Well, our Just for Fun segment is next. Joe Rose with a story of a South Florida women's basketball team that was hooping it up. We'll be right back.
Every day at 4:30 here on Channel 4, we're going to bring you a segment that we affectionately like to call Just for Fun.
It's got to be like a story about like what leisure or recreational things are going on around town. And we kick it off today with leisure man Joe Rose over at our new Just for Fun set. Joe.
Uh-oh.
Well, thank you very much, Jose. Well, over the weekend, the weather wasn't the best, but it didn't stop over 1,000 basketball teams from taking part in a Hoop It Up 3-on-3 competition that has grown in popularity in each of its 5 years. The event has been dominated by men in the past, but that's no longer the case. Renee Manwaring, Tara Martin, and Julie Bill all work during the day, and they all like to keep in shape, just not necessarily the way you might think. The three were part of this weekend's Hoop It Up competition. More than 30 women's teams participated.
Women are not different than men in the aspect that we want competition, we want to work out, we want to have nice shaped bodies, so we're not any different.
From what I've seen, there's not much difference in physical play between the men and women.
It's a bit physical in there. It's a bit rough.
Is it always like that when you guys play?
Against big girls.
Unlike the men, it's a little harder to find a female pickup game during the week.
You have to really put out advertising and look for people that are interested in playing on a regular basis.
They may be in smaller numbers, but these women are being heard.
It's great that they now are getting women part of the program and not excluding us from everything. You know, like most of the shoe companies only came out with men's basketball shoes. Now we're able to, you know, be selective and go to different companies and, you know, wear shoes that fit us.
And for any of you men who think, hey, it's still only women, guess again. These women can flat out play.
We like the competition. We used to play in college, so, you know, we still have a little left in us, and our bodies are still in one piece, so.
Now, Jennifer, I know a lot of your friends are very interested, plus yourself, in this basketball. So I want to let you know you can call your local YMCA or one of the city rec leagues and get interested and get participating yourself.
Okay, and I know I can count on you to give me some special
Absolutely.
tips, right?
I wish I could, but my body is not in one piece. With that, we wrap up the Channel 4 News at 4:30. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Now let's go over to Tony for a look at what's coming up at 5 o'clock. Tony.
Well, coming up on the Channel 4 News at 5, Cubans frustrated with life under Fidel Castro stormed the Canadian embassy in Havana seeking asylum. When it happened, our cameras were there. You are looking at the exclusive pictures. Channel 4's Carrie Sanders is in Havana. We will have details ahead on the Channel 4 News at 5.
And also, a campaign of terror is underway in South Africa. Bomb blasts take a deadly toll on the eve of the country's first all-race elections. We will go live to Johannesburg for the very latest. Plus, police now know more about the murder of a Central American man here in Miami on business, and heavy rains bring on the Monday blues for nearly 100 people forced out of their apartments because of flooding. The Channel 4 News at 5 is coming up next. Stay tuned.
Stay with us. Channel 4 News. Tony Segreto, Jennifer Valoppi, Bryan Norcross. Live, this is Channel 4 News at 5.
Well, Haitian refugees rescued from the high seas are here in Miami, but they're still a very long way away from ending their legal limbo. Their future here in the United States is now the focus of a bitter debate between the state and the federal government. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer Valoppi.
And I'm Tony Segreto. More than 400 Haitians were rescued and brought into shore on Friday, as you know. This only after a presidential intervention. But tonight, all but one remains tangled in bureaucratic red tape. Channel 4's Ed Odell joins us now live from the Chrome Detention Center in Southwest Aid. Edwin?